Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's kind of a blowy, blustery, snowy day outside, so I'm very, very happy to be inside here. Just going to click on this so I can say good morning properly. So for those of you joining me for the first time, I'm Abby Hagyard, and you might know me as a mom formerly on a TV show. You might know me as a Care Bear or two on another TV show. And if you don't know me that way, with any luck, you've been watching some of my videos, you've caught them by accident or maybe by design, and you're realizing that I have decided to go on a bit of a mission here. I've decided to go on a small journey to bring myself forward to the present day of video and watching me on a screen from many, 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 many decades ago when so many people decided to tune into Nickelodeon's You Can't Do That on Television. And so this is kind of a bridge. I'm creating a path forward over the years of time in order that you and I can do some very exciting things for ourselves and for each other, and fun too, all at the same time. So before I get started on today's video, I'm going to have a sip of this nice warm bevy. Ugh. It almost wouldn't matter what it tasted like. It's just the warmth is so great. So the topic today is what would your sales tag say about you? I had these made a couple of years ago when I was doing a live event because I'm selling merchandise at my booth. I'm not, typically a celebrity who's invited to go to one of these cons. Well, good morning, Freddie. How wonderful to see you. Normally when a celebrity is invited to one of these fan conventions, they're given a table, their lodging and their travel is covered, and they're basically just invited to meet and greet and sign autographs and take pictures with people. And the conventions do this because it's a draw. It brings more people in, and it's also wonderful, much as this bridge I'm talking about gives us all a chance to find out where we are now, where we are after all these years. The nostalgia part is lovely, and certainly it's a fundamental platform for my Unforgettables idea, the group that we now have on Facebook. I think we're at 618 members. And the concept that certain things about us, certain things that we care about, certain things that have always meant something to us, they're unforgettable because they connect us to that prior time. So when I was getting ready to do these live events, I wanted every year to do something different. I wanted every year to create an opportunity for when people came to my booth, they weren't coming to stand on one side of a table and say, yeah, hi, can you make the autograph to John? I wanted it to be a conversation between, good morning, Chris, good morning. I wanted my booth experience to be an interactive conversation where I could bring them into the experience, what it's like to talk about the things we have in common, what it's like to say, enough about me, tell me about my last picture. But so how did you end up watching the show, and what other kinds of shows did you like, so that we could have an actual conversation? And good morning, Sky, from a sunny and cold UK. Wow, sunny. I think we've got your gloom, hun. So one of the things I decided to do was get some merchandise that people could say, oh my gosh, that reminds me of. And so, we had some stuff that had Barth on, and we had, T-shirts and collectibles and wristbands. I had a You Can't Do That on TV wristband made. And of course, it's in slime green, and everybody really liked those. And I have some Care Bear wristbands. And I have recently made Unforgettables and Pivotry wristbands because people love the idea of collecting a story. The fact that I can see that you're wearing the wristband means that we're having this conversation together. And it's a really great connecting device. So when I said to myself, I'm going to be selling stuff, how do I put the price on it? And I was looking around on one of these, print on demand sites, and I realized that I could do tags. I could do sales tags. So I know what's going to go on the back. What's going to go on the back is the size and the price, right? What's going to go on the front? I get to print anything I want. And I said to myself, well, Matt Urquhart went to all the trouble to create this amazing caricature. Why don't we do that? So I just stuck a pin in it. But normally, so I had them all on little strings, and they come like this. This is a sales tag. You can buy them. You poke out the little hole, and it gives you little strings. And on the back, you write what it is you want people to know. On the front, they know it's me, and it also has my email address. So this sales tag that is about a product that was available at my booth at an event was also an opportunity for me to connect to people by deciding what I wrote on the back. So that I realized today, actually the other day when I was deciding what I was going to talk about this week, I realized that this is a very helpful tool. And the reason it's helpful is because it's a tangible thing. If you say, okay, so this is the size, so it's like the size of the palm of my hand, right? So what could I write on the back? What could I say that would be interesting? What could I say that would be surprising? What could I say on the back of this that would make people say, okay, well, I wonder what blah, 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 size this, and then some other little silly remark, and they'd all laugh and say, did you see what she writes on the back? What would that accomplish? What that would accomplish. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Charles. You made it through the snow. Oh my gosh. I love Charles. Charles was saying to me when Charles and his wife Kat came up to Ottawa last year. He said to me, "I've always told Kat that if I win the lottery, we're moving to Vermont." So he posted yesterday because they got slammed with snow and freezing rain. He said, "I just told Kat that if I win the lottery, we're not going to Vermont. We're going to Miami." And really, Charles, I don't blame you. It's one thing to put up with it here when we're used to it, but it's not only inconvenient, it's offensive down there because you don't have the equipment, you don't have the tools. And Charles was posting all these pictures, all of his stuff with these domes of snow, frozen snow. It's very funny. So back to the idea here. If I can say anything I want on the back of my sales tag, and if I can say it in a way that reminds people of the impression they have of me, that it reinforces who they've come to see me as, then this becomes a conversation, doesn't it? This becomes not only, oh, that's from Abby's booth. Oh, those are cool. Wonder where she got those done. Those are cool. And then they look on the back to see what it's for. And as I said, it'll say t-shirt, it'll say the size, and it'll say the price. And then I have this opportunity to say something underneath it. And I could have it printed on it ahead of time or do it by hand. I have all of this opportunity. So with so many changes going on around us, so many surprises happening. I mean, there's change and surprises all the time, right? But all of a sudden, when it feels like you're getting hit by waves 1 through 7, and the 7th wave is the whammo, but you're getting hit by them all the time, and it feels overwhelming, and it feels like too much of a muchness, and you're saying to yourself, could we all just hang on a second and give us time to breathe here? The conversation is, what do we want to hang on to about ourselves? What is it that we want to have? Good morning, Nikki. It's so nice to see you. What do we want to hang on to about ourselves? What do we want to be able to lean in on? What do we want to be able to point to and say, okay, this is garbage, this is worse, this is sticky, this is gooey, this is, what is that on the underneath of my shoe? And then, this is me. How do we define ourselves? To ourselves, and then to each other. What is it that if we had one of these and we could just um, safety pin it or staple it or whatever it is to us when we go out in the world. And people could just say, oh, well, that's interesting. And they could reach and look on the back and learn the key things about us that we want them to know. What would we say? Still hanging in? Surprised that I'm still here? Loving every minute of it? What would we say about ourselves? You can't keep a good man down, Charlie Brown. What would we say here? And when you have this substantial physical tool to work with, I think it's a whole lot easier to come up with a couple of key words about ourselves that give us something tangible to hang on to be proud of. And I'm not talking about, our family came over on the Mayflower. Our family, we were this and we were that. And I know I'm doing it all the time. Vikings are us, because I'm very proud of it. And I'm very proud of all the antecedents and all the other aspects and elements of my past and my DNA and the journey that my people have traveled, as should we all be. That, however, is the umbrella definition. That's the people like us are things like this, do things like this, have things like this. Okay, that's an umbrella. What about me? Not people like me, but me. What do I get to say about me? 5'7" and I'm sitting at the front? Is that what what do I say about me that people would look at and say, well, she's got that right? And if you had an opportunity to do that, and you only had something this big, and the top half is the size and the price, what would you say? You don't have to say, hi, I'm Abby, and I'm this and I'm that. You just state the thing. Optimist, relentlessly positive, annoyingly adorable. On a scale out of 10, 46. What am I going to say on the back of my sales tag? So how we come up with that is a hack. It's a process that gets rid of all the confusion. I wouldn't know where to start. Okay, so you know how I'm always saying, when you're looking at an idea and you're looking at, ooh, I could do that, and then the little voice inside your head says that you can does not always mean you should. The questions you ask yourself and answer for yourself: what is it for? Why does it matter? Who does it serve? What does it change? Why do they care? What's in it for me? We ask and answer those questions all the time, or we should, when we suddenly get excited about a new idea. Now, I had a new idea yesterday. I was in the middle of revamping my website, a task that I have been putting off and putting off and putting off because it's a lot of work. And I had an idea, and I thought, ooh, that's really interesting. I could do that. And then I looked at my list. I looked at my 6-question list. What does it do? What is it for? Why does it matter? Who does it serve? What does it change? Why do they care? What's in it for me? And almost every time, it's the very last question after I've answered all the first ones. It's the very last question. Well, good morning. Love those heels on your shelf. Yeah, me too. They're out of reach, so I can't hurt myself. I can't fall off them and hurt myself. So here's the thing about these questions. At the very end of the 5 other questions, what is it for? What does it do? Who does it serve? What does it change? Why do they care? What's in it for me? And the what's in it for me question is actually 2 questions. Because what's in it for me is, what does it deliver? Right? That's the first thing you think of. What does it give me that I don't have? What's in it for me? how does it change what is in my little container of all the yummy things? What does it add to my treasure? What's in it for me? But the other side of what's in it for me is, what will it cost me to get there? What will I need to give up in order to add this? What will I say, this was my priority, but now this deserves priority, so this one either goes away completely or goes to the bottom of the pile? And this is a very, very important question that we don't ask ourselves a lot of the time. We don't think about the way it can impact our comfort. I don't mean staying stuck, but we have a routine and we enjoy a lot of aspects of the routine. We like some of the habits, some of the things we just do by rote. However, what we're really looking at here is, what is it going to cost to add this? What am I prepared to work harder for to be able to say, lion tamer? Is it important that I become a lion tamer? What hurdles do I need to address? What do I give away? If I'm a lion tamer, probably I'm not going to collect bunny rabbits. Just saying. What will I have to choose between? And am I okay with that? Because that I can do it also means that if I do it, I will not have time to do something else. One of the items that I'm adding to the website is you're going to be able to download this. It's the time scheduler, and I use it with all my clients and all my people that I coach. You know, whether they're whether they're actors or they're performers of any kind, or whether they're just taking on the mantle of a business owner, a CEO. I walk them through this scheduler that we all forget. And it's real basic. I have a list of all the things we normally do down one side of the page. And then we have each day of the week with a little, like in columns. So there's 7 of those, and then this 8th column. And so, like hygiene and eating and sleeping and running errands and going to work and fitness and all the things that we do in a given day, just a general. Doesn't have to be, and then I brush my teeth. Doesn't have to be that specific. You put all of those down, and then you estimate how much time you invest in that. Entertainment, research, relaxing, friends, travel, all the stuff that fills the joy categories in your day and the essential categories in your day, right? If you add a new thing, you have to displace something else, because you get 24 hours in a day, right? And the funny thing is that at the end of the 24 hours, you don't have anything left over. Like when it's midnight and in a minute it's going to be tomorrow, we don't have half an hour left over. We used it. Doesn't matter how we used it. We used it. And when it's tomorrow, we get a whole fresh 24 hours. All right, if we're going to add a task, or we're going to add something to explore, a new concept or idea, what are we going to have to reduce? What are we going to have to take away? Because we do. So when I'm examining, what is it that I need to add? What is it that I want to add? What is it I want to be able to say, this is me on this side, and this is my other good side. And this is what the size of what you're buying and how much it is. And then all of this little bit here is a one line or two that will surprise, amuse, and inform you, that will make it unforgettable. What is it that I'm going to put there? And when I had this idea and I thought, okay, I could do that. That would be a great idea. That could really be helpful. I don't think, though, that I want to, at this moment, invest the kind of time it's going to take. So it's still a good idea. I'm not going to crumple it up in a ball and throw it away, but it's not my priority. It's not this week, and it's not next week, because I have other things that are coming into their moment, that are rising up and riding their breaking wave as a priority. And I already have so many of them. I need to choose. I need to say, this is first, this is second, and that will be later. And a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't do that. So when we look at, just want to make sure that I don't forget this. Yeah. So what do we look at when we're going to write something on the back of the tag? What do I want people to know? If they already know who I am, if they say, hey, this looks exactly like you. Thank you, Matt will be very pleased. I know, I'm thrilled. Okay, what's it for? Well, it's attached to a t-shirt, it's attached to a book, it's attached to a coloring book or a puzzle or a pair of sunglasses that have some connection to me and some of the shows that I was involved in. Okay, so that's kind of interesting and curious. You turn it over and you say, oh, I see. Oh yeah, so this is a medium. All right, I might need a large, and it's this. Oh, that's a good price. Cool. Do you have it in blue? Yes, I do. All right then. So then you look, then your eyes drop down because there's more stuff written here, and you look at it and you could burst out laughing. You say, did you see this? Did you see this? Now, what has happened? What has happened is the person holding the tag is now my sales rep, is now my PR person, because they're telling somebody else something about me on my behalf. So what I wanted to share today, what I am sharing today, is how much room we have to decide what we want people to know about us without it being a resume. It's a one-liner. In a film presentation, in a screenplay synopsis, it's called a log line. It tells you in 10 words or less mostly what the show is about. Stamp collector abandoned in the jungle finds love while fighting an alligator. I just invented that. Okay, so then you'd say, that seems far-fetched. Or, that's, where the hell does she come up with these things? So what is it that we are going to say about us? That is the question to ask. You imagine that you have your tag. It's not my cartoon on the front. It's yours. And you're going to put it on things. So what does it say on the back? It says the size. It says the color. Small description. All weather, waterproof, natural products. No preservatives. Okay. Then underneath that, it says the price. How much? And this is what I want to talk about. This is the core of this video today. How much? When you put a price tag on something, you're doing it for a couple of reasons. You're covering the cost that you paid, the price that you paid. You're covering the sweat equity that you invested. And you're establishing your niche. You're establishing where you fit in the overall scheme of things. Now, if you are offering something and you feel that it's Dollarama, Dollar General, Dollar World, and it's one of those things that is really handy, really essential, and really inexpensive to replace, it's a gotta have, gotta get, gotta do, and you can recover your invested cost, or you can think of it as an investment, a lost leader. I'm doing this to get my name out there. I'm doing this to awaken curiosity. So you've decided that you're going to spend $100 that you'll never see again. In exchange for that $100, you're going to get attention. You're going to get curiosity. You're going to get interest. You're going to get people coming back and asking more and investing in other ways in you. Okay, so are you a Dollar General? Are you the ultimate platinum experience, only to be had, shared, and savored on a yacht somewhere in the warm turquoise waters? Are you a mid-priced department store? Are you a specialty store that is the only place where you can buy the equipment that you need to climb up and down mountains or slog your way through the jungles with your album of stamps and your alligator, what is it? Your alligator repellent? Do you have any idea how you want to place yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who does this? Do you see yourself as someone breaking new ground? So I have a comment here. Thought this was going to be a video about fashion. So I can't imagine why it would be a video about fashion, except that I'm breaking new ground, and it could be a video about fashion. I've got costumes, and I've got shoes, and I've got hats, and I've got all kinds of stuff that could be about fashion. And certainly people who watched You Can't Do That on television or fell in love with the Care Bears would not necessarily expect life advice, except that who is better to give you life advice than mom? Who is better to give you life advice than a fearless Care Bear who is going to save you in a minute? Who better than an actress, writer, producer, and military brat child who has been all over everywhere twice to give you some insights on life? Is that what I would write on the back of the sales tag? Who better? Why not? What if? And then how do I price me? How do I say, do you think that the Kansas City Chiefs stand a chance to three-peat? Do I think the Kansas City Chiefs stand a chance to three-peat? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. They're certainly in it to win it. And they certainly got the kind of do or die thing going on. They've certainly got the hunger for it, the appetite, and the skill. It's a really good chance. I'm not a betting person. I am. I went into show business. Not telling anybody to put their money on anything except themselves. So back to this conversation. This not only tells people who you are, it tells people where to place you, how to see you compared to other things. This sales tag, if we all had a sales tag, allows the world to see you in context. Do you buy bulk quantities? Am I a Costco? Am I a Walmart? Or am I a one of a kind? Am I the kind of investment that you have to save all your pennies and wait? Or am I the kind of investment that you say, wow, I can afford that. I can afford this time, this investment. You know, Chris and I were having a conversation a few months ago now, and I was saying to him that there are always going to be milestones in our lives that we remember that were huge, huge, huge challenges. Things that came along that almost but not quite broke us. And we have two choices when that wheel comes around again and we see that date coming closer. And the two choices we have are to say, I'm going to stay there. When that comes around, that is my focus. That's the first choice. The second choice is, when this comes around again, it's my springboard. This was the moment that catapulted me to my next best day. This was the turning point for me. This was my aha that allowed me to reevaluate. And for that, I am grateful. I honor it. I sit, I take the time, I think carefully and with great love, not of the people or the history, reliving that story, because that's a stalling tactic. I'm going to celebrate that day as the day I turned a page. As the page moved, I did not stay waiting for it to overwhelm. I said, the page is turning. And as it turned, I scrambled over the other side. So every time that moment comes around, I celebrate the gift that I was given. I celebrate the time that I was tasked to step up. I celebrate every single moment that came before that was amazing. I give myself a huge hug and a pat on the back for the cost involved in navigating that page, that last page of that chapter, of that partial story. I honor it and I say, okay, what's on the other side of this page? What is on the back of my sales tag? What does it say about me that people will say, huh, yeah, I think I'll get in touch with. I think I'll ask more questions. Because if what I say on the back and the price I place, the value I place, the validity I place on what I bring, that is calculated to awaken people's curiosity. Do I want people to say, well, that's cheap? Why is that so cheap? I don't know. I think I wanted something more special than that. Or, oh my gosh, I could actually afford that. Wow. Okay, I'm going to get in touch right away. What am I saying about myself? What am I giving myself permission to spread the word? There's a great quote from Johnny Depp many years ago. He was talking about being labeled and how, people who dream of fame and fortune and then they get it and then they resent the intrusion in your life because, by the way, if you're famous, fame comes and moves into your house with you. And then it spreads out to take the shape of its container. And he said, a sales tag is a very important tool because it tells people exactly what's on offer. It tells them exactly what it's for. And then the beauty of it is that on the back, you get to put the price. You get to put your boundaries. You get to put your personal definitions. You get to say, I'm walking here. You get to say, want to join me? So if you had a sales tag, what would you put on the back? How would you define you? What would you say about you that would help everyone else say, oh, that's too bad, I'm allergic to that. That's really cool. Oh, I know somebody who. What would you say about you? Because we all have a sales tag. We just don't realize it. But the beauty of having the tangible tag in your hand gives you the power, gives you the tool to sit down and say, who am I? You know, I'm always saying to people about sitcom ideas. You know, what you want to do is you want to give people an understanding very quickly and very, very visually based on their their remembered experiences. So if you want people to understand that you're thinking of writing a sitcom and there's going to be 6 characters in it, and you say, okay, it's friends at Cheers with a side order of prison parolees. That's on the back of the card. Oh, it's a new sitcom. I wonder what it's about. Friends at Cheers. So friends, and instead of at the coffee shop, it's in a bar. Okay. Okay. So it's a nighttime thing as opposed to an afternoon thing. Friends at Cheers with prison parolees. Oh, it has, to me right away, it has a feeling of the gang that couldn't shoot straight, right? it's it's criminal in intent, but clumsy in execution, with a little bit of romance on the side. So as we are coming around the corner and we can see the end of January in sight. So we know that, you know, if the end of January is just over the next hill, well, that means that Valentine's Day isn't far behind. And the next thing you know, it's going to be warmer. And the next thing you know, after that, we can put away our winter boots. And the next thing you know, after that, little flowers are going to be coming out of the ground, and everybody feels, oh, all right, well, we survived another winter. And for the people who love winter sports, they're going to be saying, well, I guess we'll do it next year. But this is the week, the, you know, penultimate week. And it gives us an opportunity to look ahead. And when we're thinking about how we define ourselves, the reason this matters as an exercise is, good morning, Warren. We're not supposed to be here. That's what's on the back of the card, Chris. Why not? We're not? What's so important about this is it gives us a chance to reset. It gives us a chance to rethink the things we're just kind of doing one foot in front of the other. It gives us a chance to understand that we may have been letting things slide. You know, winter, you eat more comfort food, you don't get as much exercise, you suddenly realize that, for heaven's sakes, the waistband on that has shrunk. Oh, maybe not. And then we have to reset and think, no, got to get back to doing my push-ups and my sit-ups and my turning around things. What am I going to say on the back of my card? And the last, but certainly not least, when we're on social media and we're seeing people sharing information because they're exhausted and because they just don't know how they're going to put one foot in front of the other, because it's been so much for so long, so many struggles, so many hurdles. This happened, and then I thought it was okay, and then this happened, and then I thought that was okay, and then the other happened, and now I just don't know what to do. And so we sit down and we write it on social media because we're hoping somebody else sees it and says, oh my gosh, you too. I know exactly what that feels like. Yep, I'm there. I'm right there with you. Because then we know that we just got a hug. We just got an atta-girl, atta-boy. We just got, you're not alone. And sometimes that is really all it takes. We go to the effort of saying, On the back of my card, if you were reading this, you are too close. Well, unless, of course, they've got this problem going on. What we're trying to do is we're trying to cut people slack, starting with us. Lots of changes, lots of surprises, lots of uncertainty, lots of challenges when the weather is weird. Lots of got to remember to do this in order to do that. Lots of taking the deep breath because this is more difficult than I had expected. We have a lot of that on our plates these days. How do we manage it? How do we say, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay. This day, what just happened here, this day, this was huge. And I'm still walking here. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the challenge. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to prove to myself that I'm okay, that I can make this work. I'm seeing a lot of people who are posting things about healthcare. They're going to hospitals and they're waiting. And most of you know that I went through something like that a year and a half ago. It is the uncertainty. It is the anticipation of unhappy news. Mostly, though, it's the uncertainty. Somebody did a study and they said, if we put an electronic sign that tells everybody when the next train is going to be here and it counts down, people are less upset and anxious and frustrated because it's not uncertainty. They know when it's coming. And feeling that we know when something is coming gives us a kind of empowerment that makes us feel, you know what, I got this. I actually got this. All right, then. It's hard. It's a slog. I'd like to be able to just sit down for a minute, face down on the linoleum floor where the tiles are cool. I'll be doing that in a minute. So for a lot of us, this reaching out, this, what are you going to put on the back? What are you going to write on the back that makes you smile and gives other people a chance to say, oh, that's really cool? Because when people do that and they smile and they say, oh, that's really cool, what they're really saying is thank you. Thank you for taking the time to pull me out of my head. Thank you for giving me something to be distracted with and by. Thank you for giving me something I'd like to save up for because it has really cool value for me and I want to hear what's coming next. Thank you for giving me momentum to realize that the next wave, of course, is coming. I got a little distracted there. Thank you for giving me the nudge. That's what this is all about. It is finding a tangible way of saying, I'm here. Are you here? I'm okay. Are you okay? On a scale of 10, I'm this. How about you? It's the tangible way of saying, we got this. With a little bit of humor thrown in. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you today, a little bit shorter. I have stuff that is looming, little things coughing in the background. Website. I have things that I have tasked myself with doing, and I know that you do too. If you're in the path of crazy weather, take a moment. If everybody said we're going to be there at 9, Mother Nature may have had a different idea, in which case, you know what? You'll be there when you can be there safely. And that's all there is to it. And if you're concerned, upset, confused, frustrated, swirling by news you've received, by things you're looking at on the news, find something to hug. Anything, a pillow, something that gives you that sense of, okay, I'm good. I have this to hang on to. We all need that. Whether it's a person or a pillow or a stuffed what's it or a sandwich, give yourself permission. We all deserve that feeling of safety and sanctuary. We all do. And if that's what you want to write on the back of your sales tag, safety and sanctuary are us, go for it. Why not? If it makes you smile, it will make other people smile. So that's my story for today, and I'm sticking to it. This has been episode 326. Very exciting. It's all because of you. So tell your friends if you enjoyed it. Tell your friends if you didn't. Might as well get all the news out there. And I will see you next time. And until I see you next time, the drill is this. Be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones, because they deserve it too. Every single thing that you are joining, remember that somebody went out on a limb and made a brave move. And when you join and you say, yes, I'm in, remember what it took for them to say, what if, and thank them. Because that's the hug that they need too. Okay? I'll catch you next time.